Hey, it's your girl Barbie J. Welcome to my channel. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Barbie J here with the recap and review of Tyler Perry's other comedy drama, Zatima, Season 4, Episode 6, Seeing Double. And the synopsis for this episode reads, Leslie's obsession with Fatima escalates with a trip to Belinda's salon. When does Belinda become a hairstylist? Somebody let me know. Dr. Reed provides Zach with much needed accountability. Well, that was good. He needs that. And Connie finds Jeremiah in a state of despair. Okay, so y'all hear what the synopsis is? So y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all thinking about all of this. But before we get started, if you're new here or if you're returning and have not subscribed to this channel as of yet, please take a moment right now, hit that subscribe button, then hit the notification bell and select all. It'll let you know every time I upload any new content to this channel or when I go live. Then I ask that you hit that like button, which is the thumbs up button. Write a comment and join the conversation, and then share because sharing is caring. And you want to help a sister's channel grow. Now, don't you? I hope so. So for this breakdown, I think I'm going to go scene by scene. I don't usually do that because it makes the recap and review longer, but I'm going to try it again and see how it works. So this episode starts over Angela at the law firm going to see Fatima, and she's like, "Hey, girl," and somebody's putting up their finger, like, "No, not right now, right now." And she said something else, and their finger was shaking at her, so she thought it was Fatima. She's like, "Okay, I'll come back later. I guess you busy." But when the person had their back to the door, so when Angela walks away, who in the world is it dressed like Fatima? Leslie. And Leslie sneaks out of Fatima's office and hides behind a wall. Next thing you know, Angela walks into Fatima coming from the break room. She's like, "Wait, your rude ass was just in your office." She said, "No, I wasn't." She said, "Girl, it's been a long day. And it's like they just left it. I was like, that was weird how you just left it. Poor Angela is like a little spacey, I'm thinking. But anyway, Fatima shares with her that she has to work late. And the reason why is because she's working with Sage. You going to tell somebody like Angela in the middle of the law firm? She's like, "Oh my God, she's here, making all that noise in the hallway." And Fatima's like, "Shh." But okay, didn't the girl Chelsea tell Fatima that their high profile clients you have to treat them with a bit of confidentiality? So Fatima done told Zach, whom we now know told Preston and Bryce, and now she told Angela, who she can't keep a secret. And not one time did Fatima tell any of them to please don't say anything about it. Anywho, Angela and Fatima walk to the front desk. Angela goes, I guess, back to work. Fatima puts a piece of paper in the bin that's on the reception desk out front, and she walks back to her office, and out comes Leslie, dressed like her, and she takes that paper out of the bin and walks out of the law firm with it. And unfortunately, the receptionist didn't even see her take it either. I'm actually curious as to what that is that Fatima put in that bin. Any ideas? Put it down in the comment section. I'm curious what everybody's thinking. Then we have a quick scene with Zach, Preston, and Bryce out having drinks. And Zach is basically talking about Fatima being pregnant and doing big things with this artist and stuff. And both men are giving their 2 cents about it. And Bryce keeps bringing, Angela into the mix. But Angela doesn't really fit the same profile as Fatima. But the funny part was when Preston said, "Now what am I going to do with Deja?" And Zach and Bryce looked at each other and said, "Move." But Deja doesn't know where Preston lives, so what's the difference? So next we have this weird scene. When did Belinda become a hairstylist? Somebody let me know, because I am so confused, because she used to go to, she said, Karen's to get her hair done. When did she start doing hair? But anyway, Leslie walks into her hair salon and wants her hair curled and stuff. And Belinda thought it was Fatima right off the bat. And everything that was going on the whole time that Leslie was there, she's like, "You really reminded me of my homegirl. She got her hair just like hers and everything, the dress." And then she said, "Oh yeah," she said, "You're going to be looking all cute for your baby shower." And she said, "Yeah, it's going to be small and intimate. just a few family friends, maybe some people from my law firm. Oh, you're a lawyer? No, but I'm in school. And Belinda's like, what? And she's saying, your fiance, what does he do? Oh, he's in real estate. And Belinda's just like, this is like some double trouble, whatever she called it, double gang or something like that. She's like, this, she bugging out. She said, but you remind me of her so much. She's like, oh, I'm sure she's a good friend. She said, yeah, but we had a falling out. She said, maybe you should apologize to her. And she's like, who said it was my fault? She said, oh, by the way you were saying to make it seem like you were the one who was responsible. And as Belinda's talking to her, she called the girl Fatima and they said, never mind, let me take your payment. And she looked at the credit card and saw the name Leslie, and she let Leslie left. She took the payment and she immediately called Fatima. But Fatima's so busy getting sicker, so busy mad and upset with Belinda that she wouldn't let Belinda talk. Belinda was trying to call her to ask her, did she know somebody named Leslie, that she dressed like her, doing her hair like her and all this stuff. So that didn't happen. Fatima ended up going off on Belinda, but not too bad because then they both admitted that they missed their friendship. And, Fatima said she's willing to find out how it could go or where it can go. And Belinda was like, I'd like that. But first she said, ooh, that baby got you taking the gloves off. She said, see? She said, oh, no, I was just playing. I was just playing. I would like that too. So we'll see where that goes. But for those people who were saying, when did Belinda start coming to her house and all, and we see in other episodes, it looked like Belinda's around them. I guess this is why. This is how they're introducing her back into the fold with Fatima. But now, while Fatima's on the phone with Belinda, she gets a pain, or something like that. And Belinda's like, you okay? You okay? She's like, no, this baby's kicking. She said, that didn't sound like a kick. She said, look, I'm carrying the baby. I know what it is. But she's like, okay. She said, but it didn't sound like a kick. But forget why I'm calling. I guess I'll talk to you later. And she hung up. But it looks like it's something serious because the next thing you know, you see Zach show up at her office, bringing her some food to eat, asking what time she's getting off. He'll, wait for her, something like that. But she said it'll be later. So she promised Zach that she would have a police escort her to her car because he said in a couple of hours it's going to be dark and he didn't want her to be out there by herself. So Zach left. He had to go to his court-ordered anger management class. And when he gets there, who's there but Lori, Nathan's wife? And then who's leading the group? None other than Dr. Reed. So Zach tells Lori he's there because of court order, and that's the only way he could get his son back. And Lori says hers is court ordered as well, and that she's been going for about a month. And Zach said, oh, now it's making sense how you've been real chill and stuff around Nathan. He was saying that you would like really relax. She said, oh, shut up. Don't worry about it. Something like that. But it's been helping her out. I don't remember how many classes Zach has to go to anger management. Does anybody know? I don't remember. But when Zach saw Dr. Reed, he said, what you doing here? And he was like, this is his way of giving back to the community. Meaning, I guess he's doing his classes and he's not getting paid for it. So Zach updates Dr. Reed about Fatima and the pregnancy and everything. And then Dr. Reed gets the class started. And he asks Lori, you had homework. Tell me how it went with your husband. And she was saying part of it. And Zach said, he jumped in. And, oh, yeah, she been doing good and stuff like that. And they're like, how do you know? Oh, Zach is Nathan's best friend from their childhood days. So Dr. Reed asks, well, how did Lori do? And Zach said she did good. Nathan told me everything. He said she this, she that, she other. And he's like, good. So we're all proud of you, Lori. So now because Zach kept jumping in and putting in his 2 cents, he said, Zach, it's your turn. Zach is like, no, I'm just here this first day to observe. He said, no, no, no. You're going to get up and say what you have to say. So introduce yourself. So Zach kind of did this like lame introduction. I'm Zach. I don't have anger management, but I am a manager of my own business. And Dr. Reed's like, you going to take this seriously? He said, what? I'm taking it seriously. And he started writing some notes. And Zach's like, what you writing? He said, notes for the judge. So, so he said, you want to try it again? And Zach was standing. He made Zach stand and Zach didn't want to stand. So Zach, said it the right way. He told about his mother, his brother, and everything else. And then he allowed him to sit down. But then he was trying to tell Zach he's in charge of his own emotions, which is good advice for all of us, And I'm hearing it again for like probably the third, fourth time. And I'm like, you know what? Barbie J, you need to do that too. Stop allowing people to control your emotions. You can control them yourselves. Don't allow them to get you to act out of character. And so, you know what? I'm going to start practicing that all over again. So I enjoyed this episode because of that. But anyway, Dr. Reed was trying to explain something to Zach, and Zach wasn't getting it. So he told him to stand up again. And he's like, for what? I'm not talking. He said, stand up. So he pushes him. He said, yo, why you do that? Don't push me. He pushed him again. He said, yo, what's the matter with you? You know, Zach got mad and turned around and was trying to keep himself cool. And then he turned around and came at Dr. Reed like he was going to punch him. And Dr. Reed didn't even flinch. And he said, you didn't even flinch. He said, because I knew you wasn't going to hit me. He said, what you just did was controlled your emotions. He said, and this is not the only scenario when you can do that. There are many times that you can control your emotions and stop allowing other people to control it for you. So, like I said, that was good advice, and I appreciated this episode because of this. But one thing that Zach said that I thought was messed up when he said it, he said, I've been wanting to hit you ever since I met you. And I think Dr. Reed said, oh, that hurts my feeling or something like that. But I'm like, why would you go there, Zach? Y'all been cool. He's been helping you. He was helping your mother. He helped Fatima. What's with that? You know, that's the one thing I didn't like about it. But all of that back and forth between Zach and Lori whispering and going at each other was cracking me up, though. I was like, He's like, he be pushing you like that? She said, no, I be paying attention. I was like, oh my goodness. He's like, all right, all right. He was trying to, I said, he gonna have to separate them in a minute. So now we see Fatima leaving work. She's walking through the parking garage, and you hear a door slam or something. She hurries up and turns around. I said, where did she get so shaky and nervous? That ain't like Fatima. But again, what happened to that police escort that she promised Zach she would have to her car? She didn't get that done, and now she all shaky. But when she gets to a car, there's this yellow, like, shaky toy, baby toy in her windshield on the inside of her car. She takes it out, looks at it, and throws it on the ground. But I'm sorry, why didn't you look in the back of your car? Somebody could have been in the back seat, right, y'all? Somebody could have been there. And now we got it that Leslie could break into people's cars and stuff. Come on. You know, she can't do everything. She could break into people's houses. She could break into people's cars. She could follow them and know everything they do, who all their friends are. How, y'all? Where in the world does Lori work? I thought it was just Malachi who worked for the FBI. Does Lori have those kind of connections as well? Put it down in the comment section and let me know. But anyway, Fatima got in her car and she sped off. So now this next scene was a bit touching for me. We see Connie looking frail from all the chemo and everything she's going through with the cancer. And she sees Jeremiah and they have a conversation. She said she'd been worried about him, where he been. He said he been here. And she's like, you don't need to be getting high. Why don't you let me help you? I'll help you. And he said, no, you can't help me. He says, too late for me. But she said, what you going to do? Get high until you die? He said, maybe. He said, last time I got high, Mama came to me. She's like, what? He said, she came to me and talked to me. So if I get high again, maybe she'll come again. She's like, your mother's gone. You know, she's not coming back or something like that. And he's like, I know she's going. I don't need you to tell me. And while Connie's standing there next to him, she kind of faints and passes out. He catches her and is like, Connie, you okay? What's wrong with you, Connie? She's like, no, I just got a little lightheaded. He looked at her. He looked concerned for Connie. This man is such a great actor. And so, you know, she backed up because she didn't want to tell him nothing about it. And she said, maybe I need to go lay down. He said, yeah, Connie, you go to bed and you go lay down. Don't worry about me. It's too late for me. And that really touched me when he said that. I felt so bad because at one point it seemed like when their mother died, he was trying to get stronger and he was going to get off the drugs and stuff. But he just couldn't do it. He wasn't strong enough to do it, it seems. So next we see this quick scene at the Taylor's residence. Fatima's coming downstairs and she catches Zach in the kitchen cooking her a late night snack. And she sees that he brought her roses and stuff. Then she apologized for yelling at him earlier that morning when he was just trying to be nice and do something good for her with the breakfast. And he's like, that's okay. And he said he knows he could be a little overbearing and stuff, but he'll be here. He'll just stay out of the way or something like that, he said. So then he said, it's ladies' night, what you want to do? And she said she just want to cuddle tonight. He said, that's all you want to do? He said, okay, let's go upstairs and cuddle. And then the episode ended with Jeremiah sitting on the ground in the back of a corner, shooting some drugs into his arms, saying how he lost everything. He lost his wife. He lost his self-respect. He lost his children. He lost his babies. And he said the drugs was his God. And he said, and now the pain is going away. And then he's like, ooh, like he shuddered or something like that. And he said, oh God, oh God. And then he fell over. And that was it. He stopped moving. So that was so sad. And I think somebody did mention to me that he was no longer going to be on the show anymore, or something like that. So I guess this may be their way of getting rid of his character, if that was true. But it's so sad because he's such a great actor. I wanted to see him rehabilitate himself and start doing good and have a relationship with Zach, which is where I thought it was going to be heading from last season, but I guess it's not. So y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode down in the comments section, and I will see you all in the next video. It's your girl Barbie J saying, please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Peace.